They have this special relationship with sharks. They aren't at cleaning stations. You won't see pilot fish anywhere else but with sharks. And they clean the shark, and they, of course, get the leavings that the shark has eaten, and they get the protection because nobody wants to mess with a shark except maybe Steven Spielberg. Um, so it's mutualistic. Certain sailors say that that they have a very close relationship, and when they have captured sharks aboard the ship, that the pilot fish will follow them for 6 weeks and appear distressed. I'm not sure how you can tell if a pilot fish is distressed, but I suppose if it's following a ship, it might be distressed. And here he says he's lost his pilot ship and now he has to follow his GPS. They are being used currently, these symbols, on certain surfboards because they're thinking, well, sharks like pilot fish, so if a surfer has these kind of stripes on a surfboard, the shark won't attack him. I think actually probably it has to do with smell and size and all this, so I'm not sure if it's that efficacious a use of stripes, but can't hurt. Commensalism. Commensalism, sitting together at table, Mensa's table. This is the relationship where one is benefited and one is not affected either way. And here we have a hermit crab. Well, somebody made this shell and either died or outgrew it or whatever reason left the shell, and the hermit crab picks it up and moves in. Obviously, whoever made the shell, not affected. Hermit crab has a place to live. Bromeliads. Epiphytes. Epiphyte means air plant. It's a plant that can live on air. It's the epiphytic orchids you're probably familiar with, bromeliads. Those are all plants that basically they live on a little bit of moss and they can live on a tree and get all their nutrition and moisture and water from the air. And so they usually live high on trees in the jungle, and the tree doesn't care one way or the other. It's not a parasite on the tree, but it's also not helping the tree. It's a wash for the tree. These are some of my favorite creatures. They're called designer crabs, and they're a lot of fun. Their saliva is very, very sticky, and they will wander around and they will take seaweed from all over, and they will saliva it and stick it on their back, and then they will be totally hidden. And if you get a designer crab and you give it some like beads or jewels or whatever, it'll stick it all over its back. And you can get this very flashy crab. Commensalism, more commensalism. Sea cucumbers. You might have seen these guys when you were snorkeling around, if you were snorkeling. There's a lot of different kinds. They can be black. They can be anywhere from about this big to, I did see one this big once, but that's unusual. They're usually about this big. They look like sort of black brown sausages. Let me see if there's, no, you can't see that. But here is a sea cucumber, and they have remarkable thing they can do. They can extrude their guts. These are their guts. And maybe if you were snorkeling around, you saw like this white thread that looked like this, that was sticky. If you were to touch the white thread, it would retract, because what they do is they extrude their guts, and these have little stingers on them that can sting fish, and then they will suck their guts in with the fish attached. They don't hurt people though. They just feel sticky if you touch them. Yes, I have. And they can also say they want to get into a very small crack. They will sort of liquefy the inside of their stomach lining, stick it out of their body, squeeze their body into a crack, and then they'll stick basically their guts, this white stuff, to the rock so they won't be moved around. It's also known as autotomic process. It's evisceration. They will squeeze their guts out, as you can see. They also can squeeze out a chemical that is toxic. It's like soap for fish. We don't seem to be reactive to it. I've squeezed a lot of cucumbers in my day. If you squeeze them, they will extrude their guts. And You can see it's out here. They have a very strange commensalate, not mutualistic, relationship with a pearlfish. This pearlfish lives inside them, and every night it will swim out of their anus, grab a bite, and swim back into their anus. Pearlfishes, the cucumber does not seem affected by this. The pearlfish gets a place to live. And you can see he's like, look at this interior. You know, everyone's going, ew. Let's hear it. Ew. So, thank you. Amensalism, as I say, this is one where one organism is not harmed and the other is harmed. So this is not very common, which is nice because nobody benefits here. But a lot of shade cast by a tree. The tree that casts a shade, not affected one way or the other. Things that want to get sun are affected and can't grow. Parasitism. Ew, yuck. Nobody likes parasites. If you were snorkeling around, you might have seen a lot of fish. These live on fish a lot. Most sea fish have some kind of parasite living on them. Sometimes they actually go into their mouth, and that is a real problem for the fish. That can actually kill a fish. It's not so bad. I mean, they can cause some bone deformity, but it's not horrible for them. This, of course, is a tick. This is a flea. And this is, I don't know if you remember, I talked about parasitoid wasps. When a caterpillar is eating a plant, the plant says, oh my gosh, I'm being eaten. It sends hormones out into the air, pheromones out into the air. And the parasitoid wasp is flying around and it says, I hear a plant calling help, help. I'm going to help it. Parasitoid wasp to the rescue goes, lays eggs on the caterpillar, and then they mature and eat the caterpillar from the inside out. Kind of a disgusting superhero quality if you ask me. More parasites. Mosquito, as we all know. And remember I said that only the female mosquito bites because she's the one that needs the blood.